Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Iron Man ZD Toys figure unboxing and review video. Now, no, you aren't suffering from deja vu. I have already reviewed the Mark II, but this is the 2.0 of sorts. It's the LED light-up version. So yeah, most of the stuff I did say in the original Mark II review will hold true with this one, but this guy does have that extra special feature of having that one button light-up gimmick. So you don't have to worry about button cell batteries or anything like that. It's super straightforward and a huge upgrade, in my opinion. Now, if you are looking to pick this guy up, he is available from toyswonderland.com. I have included the link down in the description below, and they do have 12-month installment plans if you are a fan of paying off your figures over time. What we are going to do now, though, is get the box laying flat in the light box and do the unboxing. Here, of course, we have the box art for the Mark II. It's exactly the same for the most part as the regular version. We do have this little holographic strip across the top that denotes this as the LED light-up version, and a ton more of that holographic style print on the side, and also on the back. I really like the rainbow effect. Now, when I initially unboxed my first ZD Toys figure, I was blown away with the quality, and the same thing can be said here. Really sturdy cardstock, I love the holographic effect, and of course, when you open it up, you do have an image of the character or figure on the front, plus it does show off all of the inner workings. It's a really cool touch and something they totally didn't have to do. Now, I am hoping that ZD Toys goes ahead and makes pretty much all of the Iron Man suits that we see in the MCU. They've gotten a pretty good start, and apparently they are doing a 2.0 version of the Mark 85, so definitely stay tuned. As soon as that guy is out, I will be doing a review. But here we have him, and yeah, he looks largely exactly the same as the regular version. We do have one tray down below though, so what we are going to do now is get all of Iron Man's accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Here we have all the bits and pieces that come with the Iron Man Mark II. Now, starting off with the display base first, it's done in the exact same style as the rest of the ZD Toys lineup, except this time, instead of printing Iron Man on the top, we have Marvel Studios, and up on top we have a waist clamp rather than that kind of combination waist clamp grabber piece that usually comes with these figures. Do I prefer that over this? I'm not entirely sure. We'll work that out throughout the course of the video. Now, we do get two blast effects. I still like the way these are sculpted. They're a little bit simple because all of the little pieces that come off the blast are relatively soft in their sculpt, but I do like the material and colors they're cast out of. Yellow up the top and a fiery orange down the bottom. We then can take the open palm hands and peg them in for a blast effect, or if you wanted to, you can take them and peg them into his feet to have him doing a bit of a flight pose. Now, it's a little bit challenging to get them in there. You will have to work them in the first couple of times, but trust me, they definitely do go in there. Now, previously we were getting multiples of these, so we could use some for flight poses with the feet and some with the hands, and use all four if we wanted to, but it seems like they've stopped doing that now. Now, we also get some tools. I'm not exactly sure why. Does this mean at some point we'll be getting a Tony Stark so we can have him working on the Mark II? That would be pretty cool. But for now, these tools kind of don't really serve a purpose in the display. They are nicely sculpted and painted, however, with a nice metallic silver on the top there. But as I said, they kind of don't really serve much of a purpose for the collection. We do have two different styles of hands, one with the holes for the blast effects and one with the painted repulsor blast on the inside of the palm. What we are going to do now though is get Iron Man himself out here and take a closer look. And here we have him standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. And yeah, it's pretty much identical to the previously reviewed Mark II. All of the good stuff, all of the bad stuff does carry over here. The proportions look on point. It looks like an actual dude in a suit, so that makes me very, very happy. Plus, the light up feature is killer, specifically the way you activate it. I just love it. Super simple and straightforward, and yes, you'll be seeing it in just a second. Overall, can I recommend this guy over the standard Mark II? Because there is a little bit of a price difference between the two. I think yes. Because the batteries are integrated, because the lights are so easy to turn on and they look great, and you don't have to go about swapping out little button cells, that makes this thing a breeze to have illuminated on the shelf. So yeah, absolutely, I can recommend picking this guy up. But what we are going to do now is take him off the rotating turntable, punch in, and take a closer look at the details. Here we have him up close and personal. Now it's worth noting that pretty much everything I said about the original Mark II still holds true here. I like the design of the figure, his proportions are on point, it actually looks like a dude in a suit, and then the sculpt is very sharp. He's got a ton of surface detail with the various rivets, he's got all of the tech panels and bits and pieces where they should be, and he even has some detail on the underside of his flaps there. Now the paint applications are relatively straightforward. But yes, the entire thing is painted in silver from head to toe. None of that swirly twirly silver plastic. This is fully painted, and he looks all the better for it. This guy looks stunning. But of course, this being the LED version, he does have a party piece. Flipping up this flap, you can see a button. If you hit said button, his eyes and his arc reactor do light up. Super straightforward, no battery compartments, no little mini switches. This is absolutely the best way to do an LED light up function. Plus, it doesn't hinder articulation either. You still have the full pull-out joint for the upper torso, and he still has a full range of motion for the head, because the way they've done it is that the ball joint is lighting up, and then the eyes are piped through, so there isn't any wiring going into the head. Hot Toys have done this in the past, but they still included batteries in the neck rather than in the torso. Honestly, I hope that going forward, this is something they investigate doing, because it's by far the best way. You also have this panel on the back, you simply remove that, and you can plug it in with a USB cable and charge him up. Once again, no need to switch out any batteries, so yeah, that's a huge win. Now, do I personally prefer the LED version over the regular one? I'm pretty sure that answer should be quite clear. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Now for a quick side-by-side comparison, here we have the ZD Toys Mark II right up alongside the Marvel Legends Shang-Chi. And as you can see, yeah, the Mark II is taller. Some people have actually said to me in the comments that this worked for them. They were hoping to get a taller Iron Man figure anyway, because it is a dude in a suit, which, if that works for you, then that's awesome. But to me, it's just slightly too tall. Granted, if you have him in the background doing some dynamic flight poses, it's a total non-issue, but just standing straight up and down next to a Marvel Legends figure, the scale doesn't really work. But it does work alongside the rest of his own line, so if you'd like to see what the Mark II looks like compared to the rest of the ZD Toys figures, go ahead and check out my Mark 7 review. That one shows off Marks 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, all standing side by side. Just going over articulation on the Mark II. Now bear in mind, this is my personal copy of the figure, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful. I'm sure when you get yours in hand, you can push the joints slightly further than I'm willing to go. Now, starting off with the head sculpt, it is on a ball joint, but the neck is fixed, so you don't get a ton of range of motion, but you do get forward and back, swivel, and some pivot side to side. The arms themselves will go up to about there, but they can be pulled out for slightly greater range. You do have a butterfly joint. They will, of course, go forward and back. There's a swivel at the bicep, a double bend at the elbow, and of course a ball joint for the wrist. Now the torso does also have an extending joint. As you can see, pulling it down, you do have, once again, a fairly decent range forward and back, some swivel and pivot side to side. The legs themselves also drop down, as you can see, and you can get them going forward to about there, going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh, a double bend at the knee, which unfortunately gets you only to about 90, and of course a ball joint for the ankle. Just wrapping up on the LED version of the ZD Toys Iron Man Mark II. Now, as I said earlier in the video, this guy is pretty much identical to the regular version, except they've added the same awesome LED function from the LED Mark III. I love the way it works. It's super simple. You hit one button, the chest and the eyes both light up, and then when the batteries are dead, you don't have to swap them out. You just plug it in with USB and charge it up. I love the way they've done that. It's pretty much the perfect use case for an LED light up function and how you power it for an action figure. I'm hoping that other companies going forward do the exact same thing. But what about the Iron Man figure himself, Justin? Well, he's also excellent. I love the proportions here. He looks super accurate to the full real practical suit used in Iron Man 1. It looks like an actual guy wearing a suit of armor. He's not overly weirdly proportioned. It's very realistic. I love the paint applications. They're a nice sharp silver, and the sculpt has a ton of detail with all of the various rivets and panels. This guy looks sensational. And for a pretty darn decent price tag, you can have yourself a very accurate LED light-up version of the Mark II for your display. So yeah, I can't be mad at that. In fact, I'm not. I love this figure, and I'm really loving the rest of the line. Now, if you are looking to pick him up, he is available right now from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is, of course, down in the description below, and they do have 12-month installment plans if you are a fan of paying off your figures over time. Also, while you are down there, why not check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the awesome Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.